all. That surely was very interesting. Last agenda item for day one is Mr. Hussain Afeef on the topic Achieving Professional Excellence. Mr. Afeef is the Regional Director for Training, Development and Quality Assurance at Lux Resorts and Hotels. Mr. Afeef is a graduate of London School of Economics, Master of Business Administration, and Harvard Business School, Executive Education Program on Business Administration and Management. Mr. Afeef has previously served as the Director and Assistant Director of Training and Quality Assurance at Lux Maldives and Training Manager at one and only Ritirang in Maldives. He also led the development of customer service programs at Atlantis Palm Jumeirah. Named amongst the 100 most influential HR personalities in the world at the World HRD Conference 2016, Mr. Afeef became the first Maldivian to receive such an honor. He is also the only John Maxwell certified coach, trainer, and speaker in the Maldives, and one of the few master trainers in the country affiliated with Ron Kaufman's Up Your Service. Mr. Afeef is a leadership and motivational speaker with international experience in audiences such as Dubai, Singapore, Malaysia, India, Indonesia, UK, USA, and Hong Kong. He is also the president of Maldives Association for Human Resource Professionals. I would like to invite Mr. Hussain Afeef to address the gathering. Mr. Afeef.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Good, good. What's the time now? 3:01. So where is Adam? So I still have 60 minutes or? Yes? Yeah. I guess the panel discussion was very good. It was very interesting. So you should probably have a separate forum for that so you can answer all the questions. First of all, I would like to thank the Auditor General and also the team who organized this event. I think this is great event, personally for me to understand what goes behind the word accountant. There's a lot that goes, and I think, we appreciate that. And I'm someone who reads the audit report of our company, and I realized that over the years, it's not just about the profit and loss, right? I mean, you guys are accounting and reporting on the CSR, right? The sustainability. So I think these kind of events are really amazing. So will you all please join me to give a round of applause to the team behind this event today? Let's do that. And I have a question. I actually like the, is the slide deck on? Yes? Okay, I think, okay, it's here. So, the adding values and impacting lives. This is the theme of today's event, right, or the forum. Who came up with this? Auditor General, if I may ask, is it your team or? It is the team, right? I think this is an amazing theme for an event attended by accountants. I have spoken in several events, and in fact, at times with accountants and specializing in numbers. And first time I see a theme adding value and impacting lives. Because believe me, the way that you see the accountant reports is going to change if you carry this impacting lives. I mean, that is what you do. Because the moment we get the audit report, we don't just look at the number. 10 years ago, we look at the number. Every decision that is made in business, from human resource to marketing to finance to strategic level, board of directors, we are impacting the lives of the people that work in our organization based on the reports that you do. Yes? 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 Good. And are you proud about it? I think so. He says, sure. Good. So let's do some business here. Okay? The way I do the keynote speeches is very different. Because I like to get people interact with each other. And I know you probably had a long day. Some of you probably came here at 8 o'clock in the morning and, you're getting ready. So we're going to have a conversation, not just me, but with the person sitting next to you, right and left. Okay, so you ready for that? Good, good, good. So, will you all please take your two hands up? Two hands up. Okay. All right. And rub your hands together. Rub, 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 rub. And clap 3 times. One, two. Turn to the person next to you and say, please be my partner for this session. Come on, do that. Good. The reason why I asked you to do that is because you know this conversation is not just with me. I mean, it's not just me who's going to talk. You're going to talk too. Right? Now, we got a problem in the table here because nobody wants to be a partner. So, here's what you're going to do, okay? When I say go, you are going to show me your partner and you're going to do like this. You're going to look at the person you're going to have this conversation because there are some serious questions I'm going to ask. So, you got to ask from the person sitting on your right or left. If there is no one sitting next to you, I think it's time for you to get into a table. So, because otherwise you're going to have a conversation by yourself, right? So when I say go, you're going to show me your partner, right or left. Ready? And you're going to do like this. When I say go, you're going to say, ta-da, you're my partner. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Show me your partner. Oh, wonderful. You know, I did an event like this with the service people, those who serve. The finance people did better than the service people. So give yourself a round of applause. One more. Come on. Good. So this is the topic that we have. And as I said earlier, I love this topic. I mean, it's adding values and impacting lives. And I think that's what you do every single day. And the topic that we've got here today is achieving professional excellence. And I think it starts with building a world-class service culture with the professions or with the associations or the organizations that you work with or that you own. Because if there is no service culture within the organization, whether it's accounting or marketing, human resources, you will not be able to deliver because the numbers are not just numbers in today's world. Agree? It is. Because based on the numbers, we are making decisions, right? Here is the exercise I would like you to do now. We are all in the service industry. Don't say that, no, I'm an accountant. You're in the service industry. Because you are providing a service to somebody else. There is no one in this room here who is not in the service industry. Even the gentleman who is taking pictures, he cannot tell me, Shafi, that you cannot tell me that you are a photographer. You're providing a service. Yes? So when I say go, you got 10 seconds, talk to the person next to you, and you have to tell them, when we talk about service, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? The first thing that comes to my mind about service is value. What about yours? Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Talk to the person. What's the first thing that comes to your mind about service? All right, so tell me, what's the first word that comes to your mind? Sorry? Oh, quality. So what about you? Value. What about you? Quality. Did you just copy him? Right? So what about you? We have a problem here. So, yes, making a difference. Absolutely. What about you, sir? The relationship between. What about over here? What about you, ma'am? Quality. What about here on this table? Satisfaction. What about in here? Quality. Oh, good. What about here? Quality. Okay, now. Okay, we have a. Okay, what about you? Absolutely. And you see, this is what we have to understand, because if we understand service, and I thought of writing up something over here that I like to share with this community today. This is not to give you a definition of, but I love this. And over the years of learning service and teaching service and building service cultures, this is what I totally believe, that service is taking action to create value for someone else. Apply this to the accountant's life. What you do is actually adding value. 6 months ago, I was in a board meeting with a senior HR person in our organization. And the CEO asked a question. How many employees you have from different islands in the Maldives? Now, the question was asked from the HR person, so I did not want to answer the question. And she could not answer the question, actually. And obviously, I didn't want us to look bad, so I came up with a figure, kind of knew that it will be right, even if you check statistically, because I read it before, right? And in fact, it was right. And later I spoke to her and I said to her, you know, you just cannot run the operation as HR only focusing on HR policies and procedures. You got to know the numbers, because if you were to bring the HR to the boardrooms and boardrooms to make decisions, you got to know the number, you got to have the answer. Right? And you know, we just had our, you know, a couple of months ago, we had our report, and Anis Jangi is our partner for our company works with. And you know, we got the report, because not everybody reads it, it's this size. Right? I mean, I read it from page A to page Z. I read it. And I sent it to our HODs, and they said, oh, you know, it's too long, we can't read. I said, okay, fine. We gathered all of them together, and we did a presentation of the audit report. Every HOD knows how to make a decision, and they're linking straight directly into the audit report. Because in audit reports now in today's world, you have you have an outlook on the strategy, right? And business leaders need to read. And well, if they don't read, and I don't actually agree that the accounting standards is becoming complex, because ladies and gentlemen, in a complex world, the standards will have to be firm. We got to adjust it. So learn it, then teach it to other people. I have to tell you something. How many of you love reading books? Here's a book that all of you should read as an accountant. It's called Factfulness. This book is, in simple terms, it's a book about the way that we see the world is not as bad as it is in reality. Book was recommended by Bill Gates, and I read a blog by Bill Gates, hence I bought the book. It's amazing. You will be able to make good decisions if you read this book. I mean, you can buy the book and read, I guess, right? I want to share something here. Accountants and auditors and auditing service, right? There's a difference between training and service, and a lot of the time, you know, like today we're talking a little bit about service and policy and strategy. I think tomorrow you have a session purely on technical, right? Yeah, if I'm correct, and which is going to be a training. There's a big difference between training and service education. This keynote is not a training, it's a service education. Right? Let me tell you the difference. Do you want your pilot, you know, when he goes up in the air, do you want your pilot to be creative up in the air? You do? Oh, you don't? You want the pilot to follow the procedure, instructions manual. Right? Good. So we are talking now. Number 2, when you go into surgery, do you want your doctors to think out of the box? I certainly sure you don't want the doctors to be creative, right? But you want the doctor to follow the procedure, right? Hence, we need to understand that the service excellence culture is all about the mindset and the way that we live. And here's a definition I like to propose to all of you. All of you are going to get this slide deck, so you will be able to get that. I'll hand over this to Adam, and Adam, you can share this with all of you, all of the participants. It's a culture where everyone comes to work and they take personal responsibility in adding value to your clients, the colleagues that works with you, and also everyone else that you meet. I heard a lot of times that the accountants are perceived as not friendly. I mean, I don't deal a lot with, but I know our finance department is very friendly. Right? We have to change that, and we can do that. And the way to do that is by connecting with the clients that you work with more often. Not just when you have to make your report, or not just when the time comes. And it's easy to do that. And it is easy to do that. And one of the simple things that you can do is, for example, if you think the accounting standards are becoming complex, why don't you take the initiative to conduct a session to teach them free of charge? Because there's a difference between interesting and interested. when I was approached by Adam saying, want you to speak in this session, I said, oh, well, yeah, I can make time and I can definitely come. So there was more like an interesting conversation. I got interested, so I made my time and effort, and I'm here, right? You understand that, right? And this is exactly what we need to understand when it comes to building service culture, because in some organizations, this is how it looks like, the culture of the organization. Right? And like, it's like, you ask the marketing department, what's your job? Our job is just to market. Accountant, what's your job? Just read the numbers. Right? So we can change that to like this. Right? Where everybody comes to work and they know, what am I supposed to do? Whether it's an accounting firm or whether it's an auditing firm or whether it's a report compiling department, it does not matter. Because this is exactly what we are talking here today, because we're talking about adding value. There was a question about Uber. Or a discussion about Uber. You know why Uber is so famous? It's not just because they have the largest number of, in fact, they don't have any vehicle, but they have the largest collection or the largest number, right? In the value itself. It's the service that they have brought. I was in the States a couple of months ago, and I did about 27 trips on Uber in 5 different cities in the States. Not a single time I had a bad experience. Right, is the service. Uber, it's in the company, they got a service culture. So every driver has been trained. Singapore had issues with Uber. Hence, the Uber is now out of Singapore. Because Singapore does not want to be a country where there is a company that does not provide service excellence. Right? Airbnb. Deal with an Airbnb host. How they treat you, the way they talk to you. It's totally different. Believe me, some of the Airbnb service providers or hosts, the service they provide is much better than a 5-star hotel. Because a 5-star hotel got room inventories. Okay, if you want to stay in Hotagen, pay and stay. If you don't want, well, then go and stay somewhere else. That's the kind of the mindset, right? Amazon, we talk about that. This is a company of great service. Ritz-Carlton Hotel. The reason why I'm sharing this to all of you is these are companies that were able to build this professional service excellence culture. And it took them many, many years. American Express is known for that. The country of Singapore, I know we all, hear examples and is a country that, is, the whole economy is in service. 32 years ago, the country was left just with a small piece of land and no natural resources. No natural resources. If you look into the country today, they have the number 1 accounting companies, the number 1 legal firms, the number 1 in America, the number 1 in airport, the number 1 airline, and the list goes on. How did they do that? It's really by creating the service culture. HSBC is a bank that's known for great service culture. And there are many other different. I wanted to share an example because I advocate about this company. In my professional career, I had an opportunity to learn about on some of their projects. And this airline, who else can have this aircraft? Tell me, who else can have this one? Anyone can have. You can buy if you got the. Yeah. But how come they are the number 1 airline in the world for 22 years in a row? Ask the person next to you. Come on, ask the person. Have a conversation. What do you think? Good. What do you think? From this side, what do you think? Sorry? Service. What do you think in front? Yes, what do you think? Service. What do you think here on this table, sir? Good value to shareholders. So that's more from a shareholder's point of view. Okay? It's the people who works there. So if you want your accounting firm to be the number 1 service provider, it has nothing to do with the standards and procedures and formulas. It's the person who walks into the office and talks to the people. We got the EY auditors at Lux now. I met them before because our financial year ends 30th of June and yes. No, that's just one part of it. That's one part of it. There's a lot more going on behind that. And I'm coming to that. Yeah, it's good. We're talking. Yeah. So into this one, we got the EY auditors, right? And if when they are in the resort and meeting with all different departments to understand what are the support they need to put the audit report, obviously they need to walk into the offices with a smile and it has and that's what they do. I mean, I'm not complaining about it. Later maybe he's probably going to talk to me about it. Here's one more. I mean, this is an interesting example of service excellence because I try to share these examples to understand the service excellence. And then later I'm going to go into professional excellence. How do you build your professional excellence, right? This airport in 2008 had a problem. They lost the best airport in the world. They have been awarded the best airport for over 32 times in a row. In 2008, they didn't win, right? I'm sure many of you have traveled internationally by many countries in an airport. Which is the most unfriendliest department? Tell to the person next to you. What do you think? Is that the custom? Is that the immigration? What do you think? Yeah. Well, Singapore had a problem. They say we want to be the best and the most friendliest airport in the world, and yet the immigration department had a problem. If you want to be the best, you have to do something about it, right? Here's number one what they did. They put all the immigration officers into a conference room. They train all of them like we're doing today. And they said to all the Singaporeans, because the Singaporeans are analytical, thoughtful, pragmatic. You tell them something, they're going to do it exactly what you have taught them until they learn something new. So here's what they did. You're in the yellow line, you come to the immigration officer, and the immigration officer is going to say to you, "Hi, welcome to the Republic of Singapore. Nice to meet you. Hope you had a good flight. How is everything going? May I have your passport, please?" The speed of the immigration, right? The queue line went very long. It didn't work. If you want to be the best, service excellence is taking the next step to add value. Number two, they put a mirror in every immigration counter. Right? And they said to immigration officers, please look at the mirror, and when you see the passenger come in and smile, you know what they did? The immigration officers look at the mirror and they were like putting the makeup and all the mirrors went into dustbin. Number three, if you want to be the best, you have to keep stepping up until you find the solution. That's what they did. They bought some candies with a plastic container. They put these candy containers on the immigration counters, and they said to immigration officers 2 words. Number one, when the passenger comes, passport. Number two, sweet. So when you arrive to Singapore airport, for example, the yellow line, passport, sweet. Oh, if we don't want to say sweet, you do like this, passport. Right? Oh, will you all do that for the, you're going to do like this. In the first hand, you're going to like passport, and the second, you're going to do like sweet. Let's do that. Everybody ready? 1, 2, 3, go. There are some great companies in the Maldives that are providing service excellence, right? Over the years, these companies have stepped up in providing great service. I thought of sharing these examples. Iraq is known for service excellence, and they're still it is, you cannot do something in a way that someone is not going to criticize. Trust me. If you think, well, we just improve this, because you're dealing with human beings. All of you know that, and like me, you all learn that basic economic principle, the resources are limited and the wants are. So, you're going to get, and especially if you're in the service in pension office is known for. Look at the way that they have come up with, right? And then, which logo is this? Yeah, right? And I think under the new administration and under the new Auditor General, I have seen the improvements. I have read the improvements and the way they deal with people. And before this event, I have called about 50 citizens of this country to understand the service of these 5 different examples that I'm giving. And 95% said, yes, we were happy with the interactions that we had. And you got to keep going because that's what service excellence is known for. Which logo is this? Mira. I thought somebody said American Express. Same thing. Which is good, right? Look at where they have come from, right? It's amazing the level of service that they provide, and they are. Here's the important thing: you may not reach your destination yet, but if you keep stepping up, you are always gonna go up, and you will always be able to achieve what you are aiming for, right? And this is what these companies are doing for Bank of Maldives. right? I mean, they're coming with new products and services, and yet there are people who criticize. Don't worry about it. They keep going, right? Because this is what happens when you're in the service industry. Because there's one thing common in all these different companies. It's an approach that they use, and I put this together as a four-pronged approach, because in cultures, they add the value. I mean, people come to work and they believe in adding values to other people, right? And then there's a continuous learning. We spoke a lot today. I heard a lot about awareness training, and this has to continue, right? I think I attended for the very first time to an HR summit. Was in Singapore in 2007, and that was, I think, long time back, because you're to 2018. And I was sitting in an audience, and I said to myself, when are we going to have this type of events in the Maldives? Look at today. This year we already had one HR summit, one HR forum, a marketers forum, accountants forum, and today, Auditor General, this is the second time you are having this forum. We are on the right track, because this is what is needed in a service economy. If you want to build a service economy, this is what you need. You need the professionals to come into this room and learn and talk and share and get to know each other a little bit better, right? And you've been sitting here since 9 o'clock this morning. Have a conversation with the person next to you, except the chair from the civil service, which he came this afternoon, right? So you can have a conversation with me. But the person sitting next to you, tell them, what have you learned today so far, up until now? Come on, have a conversation. Have a 20-second conversation with the person next to you, please. Good. All right, 20 seconds is over. Now I want to share a very quick example again of impacting lives and adding values. This is a case study I like to share. And by sharing this case study, I like to encourage all of you here that the good practices that you are doing or practicing in your company must be shared with other people. Jana, right, the owner of the largest, biggest construction company. About 12 months ago, right on the coast of South Malay Atoll, I saw there was a land that's been reclaimed. And obviously, since then, every Sunday or every once a week, I would fly to Malay, and I see that. There is no other, there's about 20 other projects happening in the country. There is no other company, even not a foreign company, who is able to deliver the scale and the quality and the speed of that. It's unbelievable. 128-wheelers in less than 14 months, he's going to open the resort. This should be shared with people. That's why he encouraged all of you to go and visit. Because if you visit there, you will know. He was telling me that he invited the custom team there to go. So when the custom team went there and they came back, the custom realized, we have to expedite the process of container clearance process. You see, adding value? Understand that, right? So accountants, auditors, I invite all of you, because he gave an invitation. I am reinforcing this because when you go there, believe me, the way that you see your clients and the way that you can serve the clients, you are going to totally different that, and you are going at different values. So let me share this example. Lux is a group of hotel that is managed by a Mauritian company, and the meaning of Lux is taken from Latin word lutus, is light, like here, light. Okay. Now, this was the result of the state of this company in 2011. What do you see here? Well, patient in ICU, right? So the status of the company in 2011 at the January was 24 million Mauritian rupees loss. We were on the verge of bankrupt. At the time, it was a company named as Nayad Resorts and Hotels. My friend over here would agree because they were our auditing firm at the time. And we built a service culture. We didn't have money to build new hotels, so we focused on the 3,000 employees that we had. We built a service culture around a framework like this, impacting guests, adding value to people, right? And today, we're one of the most preferred hotel brand. Last year, we ended our financial year. The rest is history. And it's because of the service. And this is an interesting slide. You may think, well, it's very outdated. It's 2014. The reason why I'm sharing this is the importance of accountants. In Mauritius in 2014, July, we actually presented this slide to a financial analyst and a media event after a financial year. What you see in this slide is the comparison of the number of training hours versus the revenue, the turnover. And the accountants ask, the financial analyst asks, the media asked, why are you showing the turnover versus training hours? We were making a point to them saying that, look, the numbers has to be linked with every single activity that happens in the organization. And when we had this, we realized the more money that we put on training, the more turnover that we're getting, hence the succession planning, the retention of the people, and the rest, right? So that's why I shared this. Even the story went to Harvard Business Review. There are so many stories in the Maldives like this that can reach to Harvard Business Review. Harvard is not going to write about anything, so it has to be something really amazing, but there are lots of interesting stories. Who can tell me which company in the Maldives started the 24-hour contact center for the very first time? 24-hour call center. Which company? Dirago, exactly. They were the first. They were the first. And this is what we need to understand, right? And the rest will be history, right? Here's another example of service excellence. I work very close. My work is a lot also based in Mauritius, hence I shared this example. Yeah, Mauritius, similar like Maldives, probably the population is a little bit bigger. A couple of years ago, they were a 3-star airline, and they were really struggling with lots of negative feedback and lots of issues, and they wanted to become a 4-star Skytrax airline. And what they did, before this project, for every compliment, they had 12 complaints. Mauritius Airline didn't have money. The government was not ready to pump money into the airline. So they got to come out of this by themselves, but they had 4,000 people, human beings like you and me. So they said, well, let's make this as a competitive advantage. Long story short, from 3-star to 4-star, and $30 million loss into $8 million profit in 24 months. And the key focus was the service that they were providing, creating a service culture. You can read this. This has been published in many different case studies if you want to know exactly what they did, right? So service excellence culture in an organization is everyone coming to work, taking that responsibility, not just from the accountants, but also every single one sitting in there, right? From the board members or the CEOs. And the examples that I gave about Maldives, I could see that from those companies, the role modeling, right? Following the procedures, guidelines, and so on and so forth. Yeah. So the action steps can create more value. Now I want to have you to have a conversation with your partner again. Here's what I want you to do. Because of you attending this session today, what is one thing you are going to do differently from tomorrow? Based on what you have learned today, based on someone that you have met probably. Come on, have a conversation. You have 20 seconds. One thing you will do differently. It could be as simple as connecting more with the clients. We're good with timing? We're good with timing? All right, come on back, everybody. Come on back. Now, this is about you. How do you, because here's the thing. If you don't upgrade yourself, right? If you don't add value to yourself, you will not be able to add value to someone else, because it's as simple as this. This is an empty glass. There's nothing here. So if I don't have, I cannot share. In order for you to do that, you need to build your self-leadership. You need to develop yourself, right? So I wanted to give you 5 different things over the years that I have learned, which has actually become key in building your professional excellence. Doesn't matter which field you are in. Anyone who is doing something for someone else is supposed to be building on this. So let's get on to this. Yeah. May I ask everybody to read from this slide? Probably a little bit difficult for accountants, but let's do this together. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Good. So if you want a good response from your clients, be a good service provider. If you go to the airport and you miss your flight, you think that by screaming and shouting to the person who is doing the check-in, you're going to get a private. You know what I'm talking about, right? You understand this, right? I mean, this is very basic stuff. But if you want to get more clients, well, go out there, share the information, be a good service provider, then you are going to get clients. Believe me, that's how it works. There is no other formula around that. Because if you want to be a good service provider, be someone who is nice, right? And the same thing. What we need in all our service organizations is the same. And when you go to a shop to buy something, and you're complaining they're not giving good service, well, first be a good service provider. And you got to be a good customer too. Yeah. So I like to share these 5. Number 1 is lead yourself. Building professional excellence, number 1, lead yourself. Right? Be a role model. If you say something to someone, make sure you are the first one who is following it. Because you cannot just tell to someone, well, I think that's the standard, and you got to follow, and then you follow a different way. Integrity is not just being honest. Integrity is doing things right when no one is watching. So keep that in mind. Number 2 is add value to people. Wow, this is why I love this theme, adding values and impacting lives. And I said, wow, who came up with this amazing theme? It's amazing, right? Adding values, because what you do is really adding value to people. And you got to be proud of the work that you are doing. But the same way, you got to thank people, appreciate people, compliment people. When was the last time that you pick up the phone and call your client and say, hey, I just want you to know that we have been working together for the past 5 years, and I just want you to know how much I appreciate the service that we both have, and thanks for the trust. When was the last time you did that? Think about that, right? So let's do an exercise now. I think everybody in this room, did everybody get the card? Like a little, some card says, keep it up. Some card says, good job. Some card says, share, smile. Who got that card? Raise your hand. Who got that card? So if you got the card, stand up. Stand up, please, everybody. If you got the card, stand up. If you didn't get the card, stay here. Don't go out. Now, this community, I think there's about nearly 100 professionals here. And I know most of you know each other, right? Because you deal at some point. Oh, in fact, I come into this session today, I even met 3 of my schoolmates here, right? So such a, nice, wise, small community. So here's what we're going to do. When I say go, you're going to take that card with you, and you're going to go and give that to someone that has provided you a service in the past couple of months or weeks, or even someone that you know, and say, I just want to give you this card and appreciate the service that you provide. For example, the professor, but don't give the card to only one person, please. I mean, you got to share it, okay? And find someone, and don't go and give to the card someone, say, well, I'm giving the card because you didn't get the card. You have to go and tell them something and say, look, I am giving this card because you did this. And I remember we had that conversation. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Let's do that, everyone. Find somebody. Anyone. Exactly. So you know who my mentor is now.
And we have to bulldoze these guys, because they never give this value added.
Exactly. So, all right, everybody. We're going to keep going. Still have a few slides to cover. All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now, here is the second exercise I am just showing you guys how easy it is to add value to people. All of you got your mobile phones with you? Yes, very good. So please take your mobile phones out, everybody. Take it. I'm not going to collect it, don't worry. I want to show you a simple example of how you can add value to people. All of you got clients, right? All of you got partners, all of you got friends and colleagues, you got siblings, you got family members, you got spouses. I would like you to send a text message to someone that you care, that you admire, that you love, and just tell them through a message saying, I just want you to know how much you appreciate. If you haven't done this for a while, and when you get the message, they would say, what are you talking about? It's okay. This is a new start today. Let's do that, everybody. Please take a minute to do this exercise. Yeah. Send a text message to your client, for example, and tell them, look, we've been clients, you've been our client for 5 years. I wanted to appreciate you. Maybe they may say, are you okay? Right? Let's do that. Let's do that. Because it's a time, probably you haven't sent a text message like this. This today, it's 3:39. You probably haven't done this. So it's an odd hour, and they're going to say, they may call to someone and say, hey, is that person okay? No, not only client, anyone. It could be your wife, it could be your kid, it could be a colleague, anyone. Anyone that deals with you in your daily life, right? Just send them a message of appreciation, a message of compliments, message of thank you, just to tell them how much you appreciate them, right? And if they reply and say, what's wrong with you? Don't reply back. Let's tell them later on, well, I got to understand how to value people. Good? All right. Come on back, everybody. Come on back. So this is adding value. You see how easy that is, right? Because if we do, and here's the other one. Study, learn something new every day. You cannot wait for a new standard to come and learn about it. By the time you're already outdated. These things that I'm telling you, lead yourself, add value to. You have to do this every single day, even Friday and Saturday. You're going to do this every day, every single day. And it's easy when you ingrain this into your mind and heart. It's going to drive you. So every day, learn something new. Find a way how you can learn more about your clients. What are their challenges, right? And here's one way. I know some auditing firms are doing this, and we work with the EY, and our head office is in Mauritius, and we're very, very close with them. They provide amazing service to their very competitive market in Mauritius, right? And when they did their audit report, it was not just a report. We asked them, hey, could you come over here and do a presentation to our senior managers just to explain these accounting and financial terms? And of course we can do that. They came and did it, added value. Interesting, right? Why don't you offer them and say, well, look, you have been our clients for a few years. This time we're going to present, because audit reports, once it's final, everybody see that, right? Especially in public companies, it's published everywhere. So there's no problem in that, right? And here's the other one. Practice self-leadership. You learn this, put this into effect, right? The best way to impact lives is add value to people. And how do you add value to people? Very simple. I want to give you one example. That was, I think, 2014. I did a speech with school students in Hiria School. And I was talking about the power of thank you and please and being polite and so on and so forth. It was great, 10 students. And there was a kid in that audience, and I was telling them, I asked her, who takes you to school? And she's telling me from grade 1 to 10 is her mom that takes her to school. And I said, when was the last time that you said thank you to your mom? Just look at your mom, and when was the last time you said to mom, Mom, I really appreciate that every day for the past 10 years you've been taking me to school, because the kid actually house is, I think, somewhere located near campus. I think it's in Masjid Imaks. It's a bit far, right? And she said, no, I did not. So I finished the speech, and I was waiting for the taxi outside the school, and all the students are waiting for their parents to come. And this kid, parents came, and she looked at the mom and said, Mommy, I would like to thank you for taking me to school every single day. And she had tears and she hugged. And Mom said, are you okay? Did something happen in the classroom? I thought, oh my God, the lecturer is here. I was waiting for my taxi. She was in tears because she realized that what she has missed in the past 10 years. And in fact, I spoke to the parent and I said, we had a little session and probably she got a little bit emotional. She was in tears. And I comforted her, right, and saying, this is okay, it's a good start. That's what we're talking about here. Practice self-leadership, right? And the last one here on this category is intentionally grow. Growth does not happen automatically. You don't get clients automatically. But if you put an effort, you are going to get clients because you don't have control over the competition. You can't go to Honest and Young and say, can you just stop taking new clients for now until we catch up? Or you cannot go to the gentleman over here and say, can you please stop learning this new principle until I learn? Because you don't have control over that. In today's world, the competitive advantage lies with the service that you provide. Because things are going to change. I mean, we talk about digitalization and so on and so forth. So here is the 5 different things that you can do every day to build your professional excellence. And if you do this, every single day you are going to be better than that you were yesterday. Because you have 2 choices. The first choice is to either get old or grow old. There's a difference. Get old or grow old. So from this event until next event, which is the Accountants Forum, which I'm sure will be next year, sometime probably the same time or maybe different dates, but it will happen, right? So here's the exercise I would like you to do. Okay, please take your mobile phones and take a picture of yourself. Come on, do that, everybody. Selfie. Do one. Just for yourself, not the person next to you. Take a picture of yourself. Okay? Take a picture of yourself. And if you don't have your phone, then take a picture of the person sitting next to you together. Good. And please keep this picture very safe until the next Maldives Accountants Forum. Yeah, this table is they're taking picture of 3 because they're going to make accountable for each other. Exactly, right? So basically, in the next Accountants Forum, I'm sure many of you, or 95% probably will be invited, or you're going to be in this room. On that day, you are going to look, or when you get invited for this event next year, you are going to look at your picture and you are going to ask a question. Since the last Accountants Forum on 2nd of July 2018, have I become better? What have I learned? Have I grown? Ask that question. And if you are getting answers like, oh yeah, I learned this new principle, the new practice, I got new clients, amazing. If you start thinking, looking at the picture, oh my God, I know I have physically changed, but I did not get any single clients. It has nothing to do with the client. It has to do with the person in the picture. So keep this picture, please. Very important. Okay? Now, as I come about to the end, I would like to share an important thing here. If you want to be a service champion to provide a great service, please get rid of these 3 things. Our community, institutions, organizations. And by the way, the name of the institution does not create this. It's the people who will create this, because there is no institution which says excuse or blame or shame. We are creating that because service culture does not get better in places where you have excuses like, well, it's the problem of the projector. Or it's like, shame. Oh, I made a mistake. I'm not going to go to work tomorrow. Right? Or blame. Like I go and ask from the gentleman, hey, why you can't provide a good service to the people on that table? And then you tell me, oh, with the people like them? And then I go and ask from the gentleman here, Mr. Band, how come you can't provide a good service to the Honest and Young team? You mean with the guy like him? Like this, blame. Right? So, ladies and gentlemen, you got to take personal responsibility for what you do for your clients, the way that you serve people, learning new things, best practices, because no one is going to do that for you. You got to, and if you do this, you are going to be a service champion, and the rest will be history. You look 5 years back from now. If you want some inspirations, go and speak to Auditor General and how he has changed the office environment and the workflow. You got to make a way that people come to work because they want to come to work, not because they have to come to work. And you can do that. Turn to the person next to you and say, you can do that. Come on, let's do that. Right? I end my presentation with a couple of things. I believe service is the essence of human life. We are here to take care of each other. Right? Yes? So turn to the person next to you and say, we are here to take care of each other. Let's do that. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Good. Service is the ultimate competitive advantage. Right? This is why some of the auditing firms are always higher in terms of the clients that they have, because they put service ahead of the numbers. And they put people ahead of the numbers, right? And believe me, if you provide good service, you can charge more. When you come to me, I am not interested in finding out the number, but I would like to know what value you can create. So go to clients, have a list on 5 values that you can provide if you if you make a contract with us, right? You got to, it's not about the numbers, it's about the service and the value that you're going to get. They just don't want to have a contract. You have to understand that, right? And it improves communities. If we provide service to each other, service to the person sitting on your right and left, right? It will improve this whole accountants and auditors community as a whole. And don't just make this a one. You don't have to wait to improve service and share best practices until 2019 forum. Start doing that often, right? Ask questions, visit people, gather initiatives. And I was talking to Adam over here during the break. I was telling Adam, you could actually organize. Auditor General Office, they got a nice auditorium there, and I'm sure the AG will be happy to give it free if you want to conduct a session, right? Gather all the accountants and have a best practice sharing session. Do once a month, something like that. The lives of the accountants and the auditors in this room is going to go like this, skyrocket. That is what you call as excellence. Excellence, because in the race of excellence, there is no finish line, and you got 2 choices when you leave this door in a moment here. Either do things the same way you are doing, and say, I'm very happy with what I'm doing right now, Or asking this question, what can I do today or tomorrow to add more value to the people that works with me? What can I do? What can I? So go to office tomorrow, take a piece of paper or your phone, and you got the software to write. What can I do today to add value to my people? Think about, when was the last time you asked the question? And the people, I'm referring to everyone that you interact with, because we got to be a team of professionals. And if you want professional excellence, achieve professional excellence, you got to be a team of people that refuse mediocrity. There's a difference between, hey, how was the service you received in that office? It was okay. And there's a difference between how was the service received in your office? Amazing, extraordinary. See the expressions, right? And this is what we need to create, because, ladies and gentlemen, in the race of professional, personal excellence, there is no finish line. You got to keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going, and because that's what you need. So I thank the Auditor General Office and the team for inviting me here to speak and share some inspiration, insights into service excellence and professional excellence. I hope you found that helpful and insightful, and I hope you also had some fun with the person sitting on you, right or left, right? So your last conversation with the person next to you, and turn to the person and tell them, what did you learn from this keynote topic? Ready? Go. Have a conversation. 10 seconds. All right, everybody, come on back. Come on back. Now you're going to thank the person that spoke to you, right? So please, will you please take your 2 hands up, everybody? 2 hands up once again, and rub your hands together. Rub, 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 rub. Turn to the person next to you and say, thanks for having a conversation with me. Yeah. Have a nice rest of the afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much once again.